ICE agents turning box trucks into modern-day Trojan horses during a raid yesterday in downtown Los Angeles. Agents burst out of the back of the trucks, sending immigrants scrambling across a Home Depot parking lot. Homeland Security says they staged the raid there because MS-13 has that neighborhood in a chokehold. But Mayor Karen Bass seems to think federal agents had more nefarious motives. Watch.
So these agents were claiming that they were targeting gang members, MS-13 gang members.
Yeah, and you can see that when somebody is sitting in a Home Depot day laborer center. You can tell that they're gang members. You know, where are the names? Where is the evidence? Where's the warrant? You know, to me, that's the essence of racial profiling. I see somebody that looks like they might be a gang member.
So you're saying basically, Mayor, that they just saw brown and targeted that?
Absolutely, that's what I'm saying.
Well, that neighborhood was the site of another raid last month. While agents were working then, Mayor Bass actually showed up, confronted the federal agents, and told them to go home. But Border Czar Tom Homan is sending this warning to sanctuary cities that he says are protecting illegal immigrants over U.S. citizens.
We're putting them on notice, and we've already filed lawsuits against several sanctuary cities, and we're going to continue doing that, holding them responsible, because they are one of the main reasons we see the attacks on American citizens. You know, look at the cases of the young ladies that were raped and murdered by members of the TDA. Look at the cases where many of these people were apprehended once before and released from a sanctuary city.
And that's another layer, Lisa. If they're intent on protecting Brown, well, then they should be protecting those victims of many of these criminal illegal immigrants that are disproportionately from communities like that, too. So where's that outrage?
Well, exactly, Emily. It's their upside-down world that these leftists live in. I would like to say let's just let these sanctuary cities bear their own consequences and bear their own weight of their sanctuary city problems. But unfortunately, it spills out to the rest of us. And we saw that with Laken Riley, where her killer enters into the country, El Paso, Texas, settles in New York City, where he had charges related to endangering a child in a motor vehicle violation, was released before ICE could issue a detainer, and then was sent to Athens, Georgia on a humanitarian flight, right? So that's the problem with all this, is we have to stop it at its source, because it's eventually going to impact the rest of us. Also, especially after what we saw under Joe Biden, we should be doing everything we can to put up a red sign. You're not welcome in the United States. And sanctuary cities are basically a green light saying, come to America, come to the United States, and come here. And it needs to be stopped.
Griff, you've spent so much time on ride-alongs and at the border and the like. Talk to us about the danger that the mayor poses when she totally impedes the course of duties of law enforcement while they are in the course of what is statistically a really dangerous execution of their official duties.
That's the perfect question, Emily. So what the mayor here is protecting, Mayor Bass, is on that Home Depot raid that we are just watching, that Matt Finn, our correspondent, went on. Among the people they arrested was a Guatemalan national that had been convicted 3 times, not once, not twice, 3 times of a DUI. Now, that poses a threat to the community. But for a sanctuary city, that individual would have been not released back out to the streets and would have been sent out. But Mayor Bass isn't alone. You see here in New York City, a sanctuary city. You see in New Jersey, you just had an individual, an illegal alien, criminal alien with a rap sheet cross the lane, hit a mother, an 11-year-old child. That individual had multiple cases that they were released back on the streets, when in both situations, they should have just been removed from the country. They would have gotten lawful federal immigration orders to be removed. And that's why Border Czar Tom Homan, talking to Harris, is saying, just work with us to take the threat off the streets. How people are not on board with this as a bipartisan issue is beyond me.
Well, we've seen this so much with mayors of Democrat-run cities downplaying the role that criminal cartels play in control of their city operations. You had it in Denver when Tren de Aragua was controlling multiple apartment complexes, and you had the media and other Democrats being like, that's absurd, they're not doing it, before finally admitting that they were. Cartels control our southern border. They control completely who gets in and who gets out. And part of the way they control that is by having these outposts in American cities. So this downplaying of the role that cartels play and the damage they they cause, the human trafficking, the sex trafficking, the drugs that they're running, it makes it very hard to think that Karen Bass will in any way be anything other than a problem when she doesn't even acknowledge that reality.
Well, and our reality under the current President Trump is so different than what it has been that let all these people into the country. So our National Guard and our military are controlling that border now. And when you go down there, you can see that. The cartels are being pushed back. There are reports of them bleeding money, if you will. They're in financial trouble. As a cartel, I don't exactly know how that happens, but too bad for them. What that means, though, is that we have millions of these people here, and we didn't vet any of them. So we've got to find them. And as Molly is pointing out, when they're living amongst us, they exploit our weaknesses. And part of Karen Bass's weakness and in some of these blue state-led areas and their leaderships is, well, gosh, we don't really know who's here either. They'll pop up when they pop up. We don't want to look bad. So, you know, let's just try and push that under the rug. If that's not what's happening, I'd like for her and some of these other leaders to come out and defend their actions then. And by the way, are we ever going to be any more confused that Karen Bass doesn't care about her constituents than we were when the LA fires broke out? And on the heels of that, within hours, she had jetted off to another country. Like, I think we're clear. She doesn't have this in her. She's not focused on it. It's not in her front view.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.